It's me again, YouTube. We thought we'd do another video today. That's why I'm wearing the same thing. But today we're going to be working with this CETME, brought to you by Century Arms. Of course, safety first. Always want to make sure the gun is unloaded before you do any kind of work with it. Boiled it up real good, so that's awesome. Problem with this gun. I bought this gun several years ago, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that's made this mistake. But if you're young and enthusiastic and you get a lot of guns and you want to outfit them all and you want to do that as cheaply as possible, I've been there. Reel it in for just a second, okay? So that's what I did with this gun. I went and got this really cheap Chinese scope mount for it. And sidebar, in all fairness, it hasn't been terrible. But I wouldn't recommend getting another one just because, you know, it's Chinese and it's not going to be as good as an American-made one. Or an original one made for CETMEs. In a similar fashion, I went and got this Leaper's scope, also made in China, originally for it. And I got these really tiny, low-profile rings for it that I'll just throw on real quick so you can see what the problem was. Okay. So as you can see, that's about as far forward as the scope will go on the gun. Well, that's not proper eye relief. When I'm looking at the gun, I'm a lefty, but I've got to kind of get way back on the gun like this before I can see properly through the scope. That's really not bad. And kind of I hadn't shot this gun a little bit, and we went out with some guys and a buddy who hadn't shot guns much. I handed this gun to him, wanted to shoot it, and of course he didn't know what he was doing, and he actually got too far up on the scope and cut his eye real bad. In all honesty, I thought it was him at first, and then the next time I shot it, I kind of noticed I hadn't done proper eye relief. That's really not good. So the problem, though, is if we raise the scope, we're going to get like a chin weld to look through it, and we don't want that. We want a proper cheek weld. So, kind of went back and forth on what to do with this gun. Decided that I want to see how it will shoot well. I actually made up some hand loads, and I'm going to see like what the best it can do is with, you know, with hand loaded ammunition. Not that, you know, it's realistic that you shoot a lot of hand loaded ammunition through this. And then we're going to put some high scope rings on there. Hopefully that will get this scope to clear a little bit and get around that region so you can look properly through it. And then I'm probably going to, at least temporarily, maybe, you know, it's going to be temporary, going to duct tape some kind of cheek weld so we can take it to the range, test fire it, see, you know, the best it can do, and then come up with a proper mount and stock combination. For now, we're going to put the Chinese scope back on it just to see, and then if it does pretty well, we might upgrade to a better scope. Got some Leopold, however you want to pronounce it, rings. These slide on like this. I'm going to put these on. See about where this. That one is as far as that one will go. Anyway. I think that will work. So we're going to go at, as you can see, it's cleared right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this scope on, and we'll go from there. Alright, so we're back with the CETME project. As you can see, I've got the new high-profile rings installed. Those are good quality Leopold rings. Kind of funny because you just got the Chinese mount on there and the Chinese scope. That's okay. We may switch it out if this project turns out really well, and the rifle shows itself to shoot really well. As you can see, that cleared that rear sight, and so that's well forward. That should give us plenty of eye relief. Of course, like I said earlier, the problem kind of is that you're going to end up with a chin weld instead of a good cheek weld. So for testing purposes only, I decided to get this old shop towel. I'm going to put that on there, and you don't need too much. Just bring that up just a little bit. And again, this is just for so we can get the rifle tested and see how it does. I'm just going to duct tape that on there temporarily, and if the rifle ends up shooting real well and I like that setup, then we'll go ahead and upgrade and work on a more permanent stock solution, and probably upgrade the scope. Okay, YouTube, thankfully you missed the first kind of struggle of putting that first strip of duct tape on there. Anyway, we're just going to again, this is just to kind of raise that top part of that stock up and give you a good temporary cheek weld for when we test out this rifle. Just nice and secure. Not going to look pretty at all. But as you can see, that gives me a much better cheek weld. But as you can see, that looks absolutely terrible. That is completely unacceptable to keep that permanently on your rifle. You don't want to do that. But just going to take it to the range, test it out. If it does well, we'll come up with a more permanent solution. So the project isn't over. Hopefully there'll be another video as we go. But that's it for now.